And not just black people or brown people, but even other Asians. I hear a lot of racism, especially towards Japanese people. I hear it every day at school. Even I hear like teachers saying bad things about Japanese people to the kids at school, and I hear kids saying bad things about Japanese people. And people that's never even met a single Japanese person, never been to Japan, and they still have this severe racism and hatred towards those people. And I just don't get it. I don't get it.
チャンネルへようこそ。本日は2人のアメリカ人 YouTuber のレンズを通してアジアにおける西洋人の生活のむき出しの現実を暴き出します。片や中国における極限の息苦しさ、片や日本における映画のように味わい深い魂の覚醒の旅。まずは中国で暮らすあるアメリカ人男性教師の物語から始めましょう。
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share with you some of the things that are not so great. There are some things that can be annoying, frustrating, or just plain stupid sometimes. And I'm going to talk about some of those things today. I'm sharing this because I don't want people to have an unrealistic expectation. I want you to know that not everything here is perfect, and there are going to be some things that you really may dislike. You may even hate them.
彼に重くのしかかる最初の障壁、それは使い慣れたあらゆる SNS を封鎖するグレートファイアウォール、金盾です。故郷の家族との連絡は不可能に近い任務となり、VPN の使用には常に法的リスクが伴うため、彼は絶えず怯えながらの生活を強いられています。この情報隔離と過酷な検閲はいかなる外国人旅行者にとってもまさに残酷な精神的拷問と言わざるを得ません。
One of the first things that is very frustrating and annoying is the internet, right? The great firewall. You are blocked from using everything, you know? And the reason why I find this frustrating is not because I want to watch porn or some stupid shit like that. It's because it makes it really difficult to even stay in contact with your family and friends and loved ones back home in your home country. Because like Facebook is blocked, Instagram is blocked, all these different places where you could communicate back and forth with your loved ones, they're all blocked. And I know what you're thinking, well, have them download something like WeChat. My parents both had WeChat. And after like 6 months of usage, they got blocked and locked out and banned from it for suspicious activity or something like that. And all they're doing is trying to talk to me. Like they're in their 60s and 70s. Like, what are they going to do that's so suspicious? They just want to talk to their son who lives here. And those things would be really frustrating, trying to stay in contact with their loved ones just because all those things are blocked. And I know what you're thinking, right? Get a VPN. I have a VPN. If I didn't, I wouldn't be able to upload this video on YouTube. But technically, having a VPN is illegal. I don't personally know anybody who's got in trouble for it or went to jail for it or nothing like that, but I have heard stories and seen news articles of people actually getting fined and have to pay a fine and delete the things from their phone or this kind of stuff, you know. But I've never seen anyone go to jail for it, except for maybe someone who is a Chinese person who's selling these services to people. I've seen those people go to jail. But as far as a foreigner using the VPN, I've never heard of any bad stories about people actually, you know, going to jail for nothing. But you may have to pay a fine if you get caught. So keep that in mind. Also, when it comes to the internet service or internet, you're going to have trouble accessing some features from America for your online banking and investments. Like my bank, I can't use my online banking. I can't even get open my bank website to check my account balance, even on a VPN. Because even if you're on a VPN, the bank will block those things. So it makes it really difficult if you have some bills to pay back home or need to access money at home or do some type of online banking at home. It's nearly impossible to do from here. It's very, very difficult to do. So keep that in mind as well.
彼の苛立ちは時代遅れの銀行システムに直面した際に最高潮に達します。母国への送金だけで丸1日待ちぼうけを食わされ、無数の煩雑な書類手続きに忙殺されるのです。さらに彼は現地の銀行員の言語道断な無責任さにも直面しなければなりませんでした。彼らは勤務時間中に使用を行うだけでなく、自身の業務内容すら把握していないというありさまでした。
Now, another thing that I'll mention is in regards to banking will be moving money. It's very, very difficult to move money out of China. If you need to send money home to America or wherever country you're from, it's not easy. You need a mountain of paperwork and also very limited on the amount you can send. So all these things can make things very complicated on top of an archaic banking process. Like if you want to send money home, you're going to be sitting in the bank for at least 4 hours, maybe 5 or 6 hours, maybe the whole freaking day sitting in the bank. And then when you finally get to the window to make the transaction, not just one person, but you have like 4 or 5 people, workers in the bank, chit-chatting with each other, trying to figure out how to help you because they have no idea what they're doing. And then you get a mountain of paperwork and you got to sign each paper, put your fingerprint on each paper. It's just so archaic, the banking system. It's like in the 1930s in America or something. And it's really troublesome.
息苦しさはそれだけに止まらず、日々のあらゆる人間関係や労働環境にも深く浸透しています。短期契約の外国人である彼にとって、人々が絶えず入れ替わるこの流動的な環境下で、長期的な深い友情を築くことは事実上不可能です。
So another thing that you're going to find complicated is going to be trying to maintain any type of relationship, whether that be with foreign friends, local Chinese friends, girlfriends, and all this other stuff. It's going to be difficult to maintain those relationships simply because as a foreigner working here, you're going to have a contract, which is usually 1 or 2 years. And after that 1 or 2 years, you may have to move on. You may have to go to another city, another job, another province. No telling where you have to go. And the problem with this is all the friends that you've made, they come and go all the time. You always have new friends coming and going in and out of your life, which makes it complicated, even if they're local people, because you have to move and go these places. And then your friends, they're not going to follow you. They're going to stay in their hometown, right? So it makes it really, really complicated to maintain a great, long-lasting friendship. And then on top of that, if you're dating someone, now this person who is in their hometown, they have to decide, do they want to pick up and follow you all over the country, everywhere you go, and leave their family behind? Because if you're in a small city, how are you going to find another job in that city? If there are no more jobs, now what do? You're going to rely on this person to take care of you? You can't do that, right? So having and maintaining relationships, friendships with foreigners, friendship with local Chinese, girlfriends and all that stuff, it can become quite complicated and difficult. So you really need to be comfortable with being yourself and being by yourself and being alone. If you're not comfortable with that, it may not be for you.
加えて、土壇場での理不尽なスケジュール変更が横行する混沌とした労働環境が、彼の体力と忍耐力を絶えず絞り取っていきます。これほどプロ意識に欠ける鈍重な管理体制の中で歯を食いしばって働かなければならない現状はまさに終わりの見えない悪夢なのです。
Another thing in regards to working would be, the communication at the jobs is really, really poor. I've never had one single job who was able to communicate properly with anything when it comes to schedule changes or even knowing your schedule. Like all these things are super, super just miscommunicated and not handled or managed very well. Like just the other day, for example, my work told me my schedule changed and they told me to come to work at 9 o'clock instead of 10:30. So I show up to work at 9 o'clock and they said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "You told me to come at 9. And they said, "Oh, no, that's wrong. Just go, you don't need to be here." So I go back home. And then as soon as I walk in the door home, phone rings. "Where are you at?" "I was just there. Y'all told me y'all didn't need me." "Oh, we need you to come back." So you spend the whole morning running around wasting time doing the stupid stuff because they can't communicate. And this is normal. It happens every single job I've ever been at for the past 15 years. It's kind of things happen all the time. You don't even know when your holiday is. Like the winter holiday is about to start and I still don't even know the date yet. I have no idea when my holiday starts, but I know it's soon, but I don't know when. So you can't plan or prepare in advance. So these kind of things are really frustrating when it comes to dealing with the management style of, in China. So you got to get used to that.
息苦しさの頂点は一歩外へ出るたびに感じる極度の疎外感です。外国人がいるという指差しやひそひそ話を毎日何十回も浴びせられ、プライベートな空間など完全に消滅してしまうのです。
Another thing that's going to be annoying sometimes is that you stand out because there's not really a lot of foreigners in China. And if you're a white guy or a black guy or a brown guy, like you don't have an Asian face, you are really, really, really going to stand out. And everywhere you go, people are going to be looking at you, people are going to be watching you, and they're going to be pointing at you, saying, look, there's a foreigner, why going in? They say this all the time everywhere I go. Even where I live, I hear it, even in the own elevator in my building. Parents look at their kids, say, look, there's a foreigner behind you. Or the kids will say, look, mom, there's a foreigner. And I hear this about 10 to 15 times every single day. And if you're not okay with that, you're not going to like it here, because it's just the fact. There's no way around it. If you know Chinese and understand Chinese, you're going to hear them saying this. Every single time you leave your house, you're going to hear, look, there's a foreigner. You're going to hear it over and over and over all day long, every single day.
何より嘆かわしいのは、公然と存在する人種差別的偏見です。有色人種の就業機会が阻害されることや、歴史的憎悪に基づく日本人へのヘイトスピーチが、あろうことか教団の上から撒き散らされているのです。この社会の過酷な現実は、まさに人々に旋律を覚えさせるものです。
I guess the last thing that I'll talk about or touch on will be racism, right? It's open. It's basically open here. Racism is like they know, like if you are a black person or a brown person, it's not going to be as easy for you to get the job that I can get. And even if you could get the job, they're going to pay you less money. That's just how it is. Like, I know lots of black guys here, and they struggle to get paid a decent salary, or even find a job. Even sometimes it's difficult for them to do that. And not just black people or brown people, but even other Asians. I hear a lot of racism, especially towards Japanese people. I hear it every day at school. Even I hear like teachers saying bad things about Japanese people to the kids at school, and I hear kids saying bad things about Japanese people, and people that's never even met a single Japanese person, never been to Japan, and they still have this severe racism and hatred towards those people. And I just don't get it. I don't get it.
息が詰まるようなこの過酷な現実を後にし、桜の国で別のアメリカ人 YouTuber が体験した魂の癒しをめぐる奥深い映像へと視点を移しましょう。
5 months ago, I traveled to Japan and made a video questioning where I fit in there, where I fit in my home country, and the world as a whole. 5 months later, and things have changed. Japan may have changed me. I want to express these ideas of change, of new perspective, and of contentment, using myself as a subject for once and not an anime or a game. After all, I've always used media to talk about life. This time I'm just raising the mirror instead of looking through the glass. So I'll start with giving context to my situation, why I'm attached to Japan, what's my perspective on existence and life, before exploring how places, ideas, and perspectives constantly transform in our minds. Once I've made peace with how I've worded that, I'll reevaluate just what exactly Japan changed within me and what that tells us about the ever-changing self that we are. So with that said, this is how Japan changed me.
その旅は日本に深く魅了された期間を経て母国へ帰還した際、この男性旅行者を襲った痛切な逆カルチャーショックから始まります。車社会に依存し、つながりが希薄なアメリカの生活ペースと、便利な鉄道網と絶景の自然が完備された日本との強烈なコントラストが、彼を極度の喪失感に陥れました。桜の国は、かつての退屈な生活への再適応を困難にさせるほどの、郷愁を誘うこわるべき魔力を秘めているのです。
The expectation I had going to Japan was that I would experience some culture shock, some adaptation to the way life moves there. But what I wasn't prepared for was the reverse culture shock that lingered for months after returning. For context, I live in the outskirts of a moderate-sized town. The way of life here is car dependent. Things are spread out. Life moves in a very different fashion than Japan. Now, life here isn't per se a bad way of living, but what made it hard to readapt was my personal preference. I like walking places. I like nature trails. I like new things. And none of those are unique to Japan, but they were things that Japan checked all the boxes for me. That's what I believe gave it a slightly somber tone when I created my first reflection on my trip. I was coming from a position of longing for something that no longer was there. There are places within my home country with the very things I crave. It's just that I have to look outside where I am now. What I'm getting at is that while I do have a soft spot for the life I lived for 3 weeks over there, it's not something I should allow to undermine my life here where I'm at in the present. For as much qualms as I have with the way my country sometimes operates, it is my home, and I deeply enjoy many things about it, which is why in a sense I'm so critical about it when I find something I disagree with. And I don't think it helped my headspace when returning that we're going through a rather rough patch right now. If anything, it amplified the desire I described of wanting to get away and leave everything behind, go somewhere I feel more at peace. Now, I still think about that idea, but the difference now is that I don't let it rule my reality. I think it was for maybe a month after returning that I couldn't shake the feeling of unhappiness. Gone was the train system that connected me to so much. Gone was the food I enjoyed every day. Gone was the countless streets unexplored, the mountains and parks unventured. Now I stared out my window at the corn and bean fields stretched before me, which are now covered in snow. But it's wrong of me to think negatively of this place because what was making my presence so mute was my perspective of it. I craved something I didn't currently have, and instead of accepting that I chose to be here for now, I blamed the acres of land, the people who inhabit it, and the places constructed upon it for not being what I wanted them to be. It's rather ridiculous.
しかし、その抑圧された憂鬱から彼の心を癒す特効薬となったのは、他でもない日本で学んだ深遠な哲学でした。万物の無常を説く者の哀れの概念が彼を覚醒させ、母国にいてもなお、今この瞬間の儚さを尊ぶことを教えたのです。日本人の思考におけるこの繊細さこそが、あらゆる煩悩やしがらみから魂を解放するための黄金の鍵と言えるでしょう。
There's no point in longing for something to change. Instead, you should pursue a place that has what you desire, that is what you desire. And it, for me, doesn't have to be Japan, though I would like it to be. It's obvious I crave something new, and that's my problem, not the place I grew up in. Like a fish outgrowing its bowl, it's time for a new tank, a fresh playground. This town isn't bad, it just doesn't suit the current me and what I want. But sometimes you can't move away. There's things that hold you in place. That's my reality. That's what tormented me for some time, the fact that I am and will be here. But by allowing that to make me unhappy, I'm forgetting one of the greatest lessons I've learned while in Japan, mono no aware, an idea that captures the impermanence of things like moments in the present. You will never be here doing what you're doing at this moment again. It passes and that time is gone. Just as my trip was impermanent, so will the time being here in my old town. Because at some point I'll move on when the time comes. To where exactly is yet to be decided. There's excitement in that unknown, but also anxiety, uncertainty, and fear. But rather than allowing the emotions of transition to take over my present days, using the idea of mono no aware, I should allow that anxiety to give meaning to the impermanence of now. That alteration in how I think about things changed me, and I have Japan to thank for that.
虚飾に満ちた成功の基準を追い求めるのをやめ、彼は日本のわびさびと生きがいの哲学を通じて、絶対的な静寂を乱しました。彼は不完全なものの中に美を見出す方法を学び、人生のあらゆる色彩を享受し、自らの静かな内面から生きる目的を再構築したのです。日本は人々が重圧を脱ぎ捨て、最も純粋な平穏を取り戻すための、まさに完璧な安住の地なのです。
Life in America moves fast. Sometimes I feel like I'm just trying to check the boxes of success, prove I'm worthy of praise, of dignity, of existence. But really that's just my ego getting ahead of me. I do crave external validation. It's probably obvious from my career choice. But to return to my point, despite that lust for success, I don't want to live my life simply for the highlights, the milestones, the positives. I enjoy all of life, even the despair, the grief, the fear. And maybe that's why I talk about such complex inner worlds of characters. It's interesting to me. I know people in my life that don't like to talk about problems or conflict, but I think doing that makes life a little less colorful. Like you're only enjoying the primaries and haven't bothered to mix the paint into secondaries. While Japan as a whole has an aversion to conflict, I do get the feeling from my time there and the people I know from there that many sit with the whole of society, the city, and themselves, rather than pushing past it. Wabi Sabi captures this externally while Ikigai does internally. There's beauty in that imperfect structure, and its incompleteness, and its impermanence. How the weather has changed an object's color, chipped its shape. The imperfections carry stories, scars, memory. This is true for objects and structures as well as people. Yet with Ikigai, the value is found in one's perspective, shaping life that unfolds around you into something that aligns with your core self, what you love, what you're skilled at, what you can survive doing, what you can contribute to the world. So what exactly am I getting at? For some people, places may offer a sense of purpose or meaning to their world. It could be Italy, Spain, maybe it's even America for some people. These special places can allow people to find what's missing within, what they are lacking maybe culturally, socially, or ideally. For me, Japan filled that void. It gave me a fresh perspective, gave me a new way to view myself and the world. And that's the connection I have with it. That is what gave my journey there meaning, and my return a bittersweet emotion. But over time, I've come to realize that even if I'm not there, the influence it had on my life still exists. The ideas it introduced me to way before I went there still have their impact. I just need to remember. But I also need to be careful to not let my memory tint the truth.
苦悩を乗り越えた彼は、日本が単なる完璧な土地ではなく、自身のアイデンティティを再構築するための魔法のレンズであることに気づきました。癒された感覚と日本がもたらした革新的な価値観は、永遠にかけがえのない財産となり、人生のあらゆる不確実な変数を受け入れる準備を彼に整えさせたのです。この西洋の青年の心は、日本の偉大さと究極の洗練によって完全に征服され、永遠に作り変えられたのです。
There are two Japans, two Americas. There's the physical ones, the ones that actually exist that you can see on a map. And then there's the one within each of our heads, in my head and your head, constantly shifting and changing due to new information, changes in the self, what be it. That's the interesting thing about places. We never see them for what they really are, only what we want to see them as. And that's an ever-changing battle. To see things not as a single painting, but as a museum of canvases, sculptures, and works. The ever-changing idea of things is a result of us as people constantly changing our minds, how we live, what we live by, what we live with. None of this is stagnant, yet we're told to make decisions with the little knowledge we currently possess. All the time. The most difficult part for me seems to be grappling with the fact that there isn't a perfect path laid out for me. There's decisions and choices that will set me towards one way, while others will lead me to a complete other road. Unknowable things may cause me to deviate over time, yet still I attempt to plan the future like I have some control in the matter. There's this idea known as the hedonic treadmill that basically theorizes that whatever happens in life, happy or sad, we will return to this baseline level of happiness. And maybe that idea isn't unique just to that emotion. Maybe we have a baseline for everything, and I, by fearing the downfall and overly throwing myself at work because I don't wish to waste this opportunity, am just attempting to extend the rush one gets from seeing comments from viewers saying they enjoy my work before returning to that baseline level of satisfaction. Maybe that's what motivates my constantly shifting goalpost I stake into the ground just to pick up once reaching its location. The reality is that nothing I achieve will be so monumentally important that I should overly stress about my existence and my path. I'm just one of many specks of dust in the great galaxy. Life, after all, is not as serious as I sometimes make it out to be. I think that's the truth I always tend to land on. As I said, I love life. Its cruelties, the mundane, the absurdity, it all gives it flavor. The future is unpredictable, and while some may find suffering in the fact that you'll likely never reach the ideal of yourself you have in your mind, the rush of that pursuit is enough enjoyment for me. Finding peace with the fact that my anxieties are a product of my fear of failure and my fear of not measuring up to not expectations set by others, but mostly by myself, gave me more control over how I see things. It freed me from toiling in despair over the what ifs. Will I reach my goals? Will I measure up? The answer to that will one day find me. I don't need to waste my time searching for them. Repetitive actions push me forward, and the road my life inevitably ends on may look nothing like the ideal in my head, or maybe it'll look everything like it. Japan helped me find this perspective of peace with the chaos in my head, helped me construct this version of me that will only keep changing as I continue living. It isn't that Japan is some holy land that offers to free people of their everyday life or is a perfect utopia. It's far from that. It's just a place on this earth I've found a connection with. Nothing more, nothing less. In that sense, maybe Japan clarified something about myself that I wanted. My pace of life, a sense of being that I long for. Maybe it exposed the tension within me to always pursue for more, but also secretly long for a simple and quiet life. I've always had this part of me who enjoys routine to give my life structure. It's part of why I can pump out videos on here, why I go to the gym 6 days a week like clockwork, why I feel so determined in my pursuits, because I know how to flow within the routine and become more efficient with the machine. But there's also that part of me that longs for adventure, for an escape from the routine, freedom of the self. Despite being so routine-based, I long for the freedom of chaos and possibility. A routine gives me the things I need. It allows me to pay the bills and to survive. To take that adventure is to risk that comfort. And sometimes you have to choose between. It's why I made the first video about Japan. I wanted to capture that side of me that longs for exploration. I feel like I've been going on a bit of a tangent, so let me correct this course. My trip to Japan exposed my dueling nature of self. Polar sides of me that crave different worlds and ways of life. We all have this in us, this yin and yang of the self. Learning to balance the opposing forces and ideals within you is key to finding a fulfilling life. At least that's my perspective. I found the words to describe my tension because of Japan, because of my return. And so while I initially felt out of bounds, through wrestling with myself, I regained a little of it, at least enough to sort out my problems. I think you get where I'm going with this. Change is an unseverable part of life and of ourselves. We find connection and meaning in places, people, ideas that help us understand parts of ourselves, which in turn allows us to decide how to shape ourselves moving forward. So that leaves me with the question, the one I created the first Japan reflection on. What am I going to do about it? What will I choose to do, to be, to pursue? That's the hard question. Japan has taught me a lot about myself over the years, whether it meant to or not. The games I love, the shows I watch, the books I read, it influences what I consume and what I think in many ways.
日本は単なる中継地点ではなく、迷える魂を救済する正真正銘の奇跡です。無常への共感から不完全さへの敬意に至るまで、日本文化の偉大なる深みこそが、このアメリカ人旅行者を鍛え上げ、完全に再生させたのです。日本は彼に絶対的な静寂を見出す方法を教え、不安定な心を永遠の平穏へと変え、人生のあらゆる岐路を勇敢に抱きしめる力を与えました。皆様は日本文化の持つこの魔法のような治癒力についてどうお考えでしょうか？ぜひ下のコメント欄で皆様のお考えをシェアしてください。そして今後もインスピレーションに満ちた世界探求の旅を我々と共にするために、高評価、シェア、チャンネル登録をお忘れなく。それではまた次回お会いしましょう。